Hello YouTube, and welcome back to another wonderful episode of TimberPunk 2, where I had to pause the overall build here because something else popped up. This is beautiful. We have a lot of water here to pump out, a lot of beavers to get up here and pump out, and I expanded beaver production a little bit. We finally broke into the adult breeding pods. So we'll be able to tear a few of these out down here, and I would love to clean up more of my pathing and clean up a lot of this area down here. So maybe we'll spend some time down here fixing this, since we have a lot of this real estate that's all irrigated and can be used for stuff like, you know, trees and food and all sorts of other things that we aren't really able to tackle right now. But the problem is this started ticking. And we've got... I'm sorry. Not that. That. This started ticking. And I thought, you know, maybe we could finish everything up and not have any issues with this thing going boom while I finished up the rest of the water system over there. But apparently I was wrong in that assumption. So, we have 29 days to produce copious amounts of metal blocks. So 200 metal blocks. We have the gears. We have the explosives. I have the beavers working their way over here so that we can start working on that. I've got storage for explosives. I've got storage for gears in position. We'll probably throw in another thing for gear storage up here, since it does require 300 as opposed to 200. And I'm thinking... Oh, and I also threw in a charging station just for these guys, though that's probably unnecessary now that I'm thinking about it, because I have these over here running already. So I don't know why I did that. This is fine. That gives us a little bit of metal blocks back, which is good. So let's go ahead and just turn these back on, since they're not doing anything for us. There we go. Now they can charge. We'll probably throw in a couple over here. Might as well just do that now. And I was thinking about putting a district up here and just getting our bots to build to their heart's content once we have all the materials rocking and rolling on hand. However, we don't necessarily have that quite yet. So let's go ahead and get that in there. They can build those. The bots can charge up here as necessary, and they can do those things. And that will be beautiful. Would also like to point out that we have 9,000 units or 8,500 units of water floating around right now for our beavers to continue to stay afloat, if you will, which is a beautiful thing to see. I'm very happy about this fact. And that is a wonderful, 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 wonderful. Now, while they're working on the rest of that, I think we can play with a few other things, and I think maybe we clean up a little bit of our pathing while we've got a few seconds to think back there. And I would love to tear all this out, blast this down, and have a nice piece of flat real estate for us to work with, which would be really nice. Maybe that's something that we can think about doing. I'm not entirely sure if I want to do that right now, considering the state of things as they are. Yeah. So this is quite the predicament we find ourselves in. And I think since we have a few bots doing nothing with their hands, we can come up here and we can actually turn these on. Since all of these guys are bored right now, and there's copious amounts of water up there that all of these bots could be pulling from. And same with all of these over here. I don't know. On a side note, I'm seeing a splash of poo water finding its way into the system every once in a while, and I'm not sure what's causing it. I don't think it's this. That's been solved. So I'm kind of confused by that. I would like to figure that out too. So I'm not entirely sure. I want to bring all that down. I probably should just pause this. Pause these two. Let's pause this overhang, pause this overhang. Those things are already in position, so they can build those to their heart's content without too much consternation or any. I have no qualms with that, is what I'm trying to say. But we can put that in here, and we can put this in right here, and that can go in like this, and then we can have this set as metal blocks, set to obtain, not supply, obtain, prioritize, obtain. Hit this prioritize, obtain on gears as well, and we can hit this button here. Let's give this a priority bump so that these guys can have a little bit less of a run to get up here to do that. Now with these in, they should be able to charge a little bit easier, and maybe we'll come up here and we'll rip out a few of these thorns and give them a bit of an easier trek to come down here and charge themselves. It looks like the explosives are already in. The gears should be almost all the way in. They will be in here shortly. Probably not even worth the squeeze to put that in, though I would love to have that in just for the metal block production or the metal block maneuvering. And I'm curious to know if there are any more metal blocks floating around already produced that we could tackle. That's 12 right there. That's not going to do anything for us. That's a lot of scrap metal. That's not going to do anything for us. Some lumber, some gears, some water, explosives. Nothing there. I think that's about it, honestly. I think we could probably tell them to stop using this, get rid of that. This is all nice and full now, so that's really cool. I did get this done, and then I started looking at it a little bit more closely, and even if I pulled this up one stage higher, it would still spill over, I think. So we would have to come in here and tear out even more of this stuffs, which I don't really have the capacity to do so, but I can at least tear into this scrap metal, which was a limiting factor on total metal production, because this stuff down here wasn't getting pulled in fast enough with just the 3. So now we have a few more than 3 of our beavers down here pulling scrap metal in. So this will hopefully speed things up just a tad bit, and we'll probably go ahead and throw in a few of these just to get haulers moving this metal, or these metal blocks out of, or scrap metal out of here for the foreseeable future. And I really should just hit this button. I hit this supply button, I hit this button, and then I copy and paste that across the board instead of doing it onesie twosie, which is the smart thing to do. Cool. So we have 26 days until this goes pop, which is not the greatest. Give me path, please. Thank you. Didn't really need to do that. That's in. Now we just need to produce 140 or 154 metal blocks within a 26-day period. We produce. Let's pull up the old calculator, shall we? Because I cannot math this well. So we need, what do we say, 153 metal blocks. We are producing 5 per hour. Right? Am I mathing correctly? No. 153 blocks. We're producing 5 per hour, or 5 per 2-hour period. So every 12 hours, we're producing 60 blocks. So in theory, within 4-5 days, we should have enough metal blocks up in position to meet the demand for this build that we are racing to complete at this time. At least that's what I think is happening. Anyway, hopefully my math is not incorrect, and we'll keep an eye on all of that while it's going forward. Okay. So that is all going in. That is nice. I would love to get up here and start giving us more space to save some more of our foodstuffs, which we don't really have much in the way or the capacity to do any of that right now. I would also like to come over here and give us a little bit more in the way of production space to do all of this over here. And I think we could probably rip a little bit of this out. I thought that we had a connection over there, and clearly that was an incorrect assumption. So that's on me. That stinks. Cool. Very, very, very not cool. I don't think I have anybody that can actually reach back there right now, but if I put somebody in right here, they can help out with all of that. And I think what we can do is even put in a little bit more. Would this help anything? I don't think so. Kind of want to run this path a little bit more straight. And then we can rip a little bit of this out. Nope, I don't want to rip that out. No. Yes, yes. It really didn't save us anything. It just made that pathway a little bit straighter. We still have this four-way right here. Unnecessary four-way. We can have them stop planting this and straighten this line up, I guess. We don't really have much in the way of storage for our soybeans. We don't really have much in the way of planks right now either. I would love to have those moving a little bit more quickly, but I do not believe we have the capacity to do so. On an additional side note, we were working on our way down here so that we can work on more of this area and getting this irrigated, which expands our total capacity to do fun things like plant all the way back here and get more lumber up and running, which would be a glorious thing for us to see. So while they're working that up there, I'm going to let that rage for now. 84 out of 200, and we still have 24 days left. So it doesn't appear as though my original timeline is exactly correct, but a guy could hope. This guy is walking right past the charging station, so that's cool. Hopefully that guy doesn't run right past the charging station. You have nothing to do within range. You are a scavenger flag guy, so you can go all, I suppose. This is all cleared out nicely. This is beautiful. Let's go ahead and rip you out. We have planks here. I don't really care for eating into planks right now. That's fine. There's so much scrap back here. And a little bit of water right there. That's cool. Nothing else of value really back here other than the scrap metal. But I am happy with the amount of scrap that is available to us in there. There's still a flooded building. That's not much I can do about that. I would love to also come down in here at some point and also run our tube station back there, is that is where we have a little bit of well, that's where our mine is, which we aren't quite at mine life yet, but soon we should be at mine life. Maybe we can make their lives a little bit easier by cutting those out. I doubt it, but a guy can dream, and I think what we have here are 4 extra bots with nothing to do with their hands, so they can come up here and work in these positions there and pump out more water for us. I would love to get in more water tanks, large water tanks, but I don't have the metal blocks to produce large water tanks right now. But we're okay with the 9K that we have on hand, so that is pretty Gucci. I'm happy with that. Cannot complain too much about that at all. I would, however, like to get up here and tear into a little bit more of the scrap metal and probably help this guy out a little bit by giving him access to that. Now we have an additional scrapper up here to rip even more of this out, and I would like to somehow gain access to this, which means maybe that. And something along these lines. Then we rip this out. And then we can work our way. Do I? This is probably the easiest since I'm out of metal blocks. So let's not worry about metal block problems right now. Let's solve what we can with lumber, since that is a little bit more easily obtained at this point. And I like that idea. So they'll work on that. They'll keep tearing that out and doing great things there. That is beautiful. We are still missing out on 80 metal blocks there. And we'll get that capped off. It probably would be easier just to come in here, blast this out, and divert the bad tide elsewhere. Or just cut through here and not let it fall into that crater. But I would like to have this just capped off, because then I can get a little bit more real estate back on planting back here, and that gives me hope for our beaver future, which I like having hope for the beaver future. You know, it's a beautiful and wonderful thing to have a lot of green and beautiful things for our beavers to do, wonderful beaver things. With this entire system going in up here, though, I think that we can probably move away from having all of these guys in here, which would be nice. But I think we'll go ahead and rip these guys out for now. We can go ahead and clean up a little bit of this pathing here as well, which saves us a little bit on the overall computer requirements. And I think if we win, we have a little bit more material, metal blocks available to us again in the future. We can turn around and start making this green. And then that would be great, actually. That'd be really cool. I have 3 bots with nothing to do with their hands. Where can we put them? And also rip this guy out, and maybe we can save a little bit of our planks back, which would be good. Whoops, didn't mean to do that. Sorry, guys. Put that back in. You guys kind of need that for planting purposes. They did, however, get a few of these thorns out of the way, so that's pretty neat. We can also clean a little bit of this up, since these are definitely not necessary. That gets us a little bit of lumber back. And that is all green there now as well. So let's go ahead and plant some more of our berries back here. And we can even plant a few more. Call it pine. I think pine's a good answer. That way that you can get some more pine resin. Though I don't know if we have much in the way of storage space for pine resin. Nope, we're good on pine resin storage space. Awesome. Awesome, awesome. Get those thorns out of there. We don't need piney thorns or thorny pines. Let's get a bit more of pine tree in here too. Pines, yep, pine trees in there. Beautiful. I think, hopefully, we can plant a few more right there as well. Maybe even a few more right here. Beautiful. Maybe if we do something like this, throw that down right there, we can gain access to these thorns right here that have been a thorn in my side with that little marker there for the past millennia, not letting us actually tackle any of that. Okay. Now, while we're waiting on metal blocks to do metal block things, I think what we can do is tear that out there. And now we can do a little something silly and unnecessary by doing something like this. And a little something like this right there. Pull that back up to the top. They're going to have access to all those things. We can, once they get that blown up right there, we can run power. We throw some stairs in right here just to gain access to those ones underneath this system, which in theory they shouldn't have access to, but it looks like they're able to kind of dig through the side. So you know what? I'm not going to complain about that. Not going to complain about that at all. So let's save a little bit of our time and material and such Get that out of there. I don't know why I tore those out, but that's fine. Go ahead and get this in here, which means putting that there. Putting our charging station back on top. That will be beautiful. And we'll go ahead and grab this power shaft, pull this back down. Probably not that far. Put it down right there. We could go one deeper. And no, I don't think that's necessary. I do not believe that is necessary. Yeah, I feel like that's a tad bit excessive and unnecessary. So we won't do that. We'll let them go ahead and put that all back in there, and we'll cover this back up. That'll be fine. That'll get connected. We have another beaver with nothing to do with his hands, which means you're fired. You can go do wonderful things, and boom! There's our Badwater discharge covered. Awesome. That means you're no longer prioritized by haulers. That means that you can get done and done. And I think we can even clear this out. That should be everything. Now the question is, what are these guys doing? They're just running up here to charge. Which means I probably need a few more chargers down here for all of our iron bots. I feel like they are definitely being hampered by the lack of chargers available to them. So let's see about putting in a few of those. Maybe back here. Just kind of out of the way. Isn't the greatest, but it will meet the intent there. That ripped out. Go ahead and grab this. Reconnect right there. And now we've got all of those charging positions moving appropriately. And if we wanted to, we could probably throw in an additional lumber mill right here just to connect those guys right there. But that is something for us to think about in the future. Let's see how this is coming along. It looks like they've got all of that in, question mark. Let's just pull this down and check. It does not appear as though they were able to build through the corner to actually throw that in from on top. So we're going to have to come down here and throw this one explosive in right there. And they should be able to reach that without too much consternation. We have so many bots running around right now. I love to see it. So that means that we can burn the 750 science to throw you in there, put you in there, put you in here for another 750. We can keep food moving for a long time. That is beautimous. Now let's clean up a little bit of this back in here. That's unnecessary pain. Go ahead and put in some blueberries back here as well, just because I have run into problems in the past without enough blueberries to meet the demand for our beaver future, which is not a beautiful thing to have happen. We don't want that to happen. Okay. All right. Things are looking really good. Things are looking fantastic. Let's clean this up a little bit. I would love to empty that out, but I would also love to come up here and get this moving again too. So let's get this moving again. Get that finalized. We can just bring this back up to a normal word. A normal word. Yes, that's what I'm thinking of. Sweet. Okay, that's out of the way, so that means we can come up here, we can hit this button, come over here, and we can start clearing out some more of this. These thorns. Probably don't need all of these thorns cleared out, just a few of them. Just a few of them, just to make our lives that much easier to get through and around this area, which would be a brilliant. Means we can store even more water back here, and I like storing copious amounts of water. Okay, so how high do we want to go? Do we want to go this high? Is that excessive? Can we go that high? I think we can. What are you, Badwater? I don't care about Badwater. But we do have a fair portion of this cleared out, so we can flip this around, throw in some stairs, grab this, rip this all out, go to here, and then do the same up here. And probably just go ahead and do the same on the backside over here. That'll take a minute for them to tear through, which is fine. That's acceptable. You still have nothing to do within range, so that's another bunch of scrap that we can no longer reach, which is acceptable. Yeah, and you're about to run into the same problem, so we might pause you and tell you to go somewhere else. Okay, the question now is, how is this coming along? It looks like they have got down there now, so we can go ahead and grab this, connect that up and over. They did clear that out. Can you reach that entire side now? You can. The question is, do we want food there, or do we want more trees there? You can also reach all of that. You know what? Let's go ham. Let's go a little crazy. You know, and plant some more of these beautiful pine trees. And you should be able to reach all that without any issue. And now we can tell them to not plant this, because that can't be reached by anybody right there. And now we can finish filling in the rest of that with kohlrabi. Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Now let's throw in some more cassava right there. We can clean this path up and plant some more cassava. That's no longer necessary. And this should be in. And that also means that we should have access to planting those 2 or 3. Nope, too far from district. Okay. Let's pause you. We don't trap anybody. And let's throw in that bad Johnny right here, like that. Jeez, that took way too long for me to flip that appropriately. That's okay. Everything's fine. Metal blocks are in a pretty good spot now, so I think we could probably think about putting in more water storage on this side. I did notice that I ran into a little bit of a problem. I didn't clear out enough of these stinking brambles. Ow. To I poked myself talking about brambles, so that's on me. To actually put even more of these large tanks up here, which is kind of stinky. But we have the capacity to do so now, so we shall do so. And how? Now, I would also like to come into here and rip a portion of this out. Somebody dropped a beautiful comment. Don't know if I want to block this off. Honestly, I don't think that would be provide any benefit to us. Now that I'm thinking about it, looking at it. I would like to move this water somewhere so it's not just stuck right there. Maybe we'll fill this hole in. That's just stuck there doing nothing for us. I can't do anything with it unless I bring pumpers over here to pump all this out, which is not a bad thing. It wouldn't be a bad thing for us to do, but I feel like that's a waste of time. I wouldn't say waste of time. That doesn't need to be prioritized obtain anymore either. Same there and same there. We can store all of that elsewhere. Okay. Now, did they put all of this in down here? They did. So we can unpause you. And I think we could probably turn our dirt excavator back on at some point. I just need a place to store all of that dirt. Okay. So, with this capped off now, this is no longer producing poo water for us. That means that we can reclaim all of those goods for ourselves, which means all of that is now available to us to continue to plant everything back here. And I'm again reminded by the fact that I still have not given us a place to actually use all of these goods. Still need a place to work our corn. Yes. Get that ripped out. Let's go ahead and throw this back in just to fill that hole up, and that will be a good. Let's go ahead and blast that out, and we can throw this down here. Did not realize that that was right. I should have known that that was right there. I don't know why I didn't recognize that. The fact that that was right there, but that should be okay. 1800 science, bada bing, bada boom, and we'll have to turn you back on because I would like to have dirt again. Now, there's no leaking from the Badwater source in here, so this shouldn't cause any problems for us. We could probably even come back here and block some more of this off. I can't be bothered right now. That's fine. Total network supply is still 4 times the amount that we need. Thereabouts, so that's pretty good, and that's in the middle of a drought too, so that's pretty neat. It is fantastic. Let's see what else we have. We have all this scrap up here too that we could tackle, but I'm not bothered by that right now. We have one unstaffed builder's hut, which is fine, so we can go ahead and pause that. What are we going to do with this all down here? We continue blasting this out. I did want to come in here and I wanted to clean a lot of this up too. So let's do that. So let's look at something like ripping that out, running this through here. So that is like that. That is like that. That looks something along those lines. That should be fine. And we can go ahead and rip these guys out, like such as. Do the same thing all the way back here. Clean all of that up. Put this in right here. Tell them to rip these trees out. Just because those have not been producing anything for us in a minute. I think we can probably get rid of these kohlrabi storages right here. Kohlrabi storage? Yeah, let's get rid of that. See here. Let's change you to kohlrabi storage for now. This is the first time I've ever had a crap ton of kohlrabi storage floating around. Normally, it's the opposite. Normally, it's the one thing that I don't have anything of, just because it's the item or the one that just pops so fast that they're not able to keep up with the plant rate of it. But that's okay. This is fine. I'd also like them to come clean up all of this mess that I've just created for them. We can have them rip those out too, and they can come clean up those. And clean up a little bit of this mess right here, just because that's a mess. Somehow not created a problem for them in that regard, but that's fine. I would love to get rid of all these storages here too. I want to leave one just for that guy, but I could probably just pull that down to one small tank there. I want to leave these guys in just because I have no idea if we're going to run into the same problem that we ran into last time. Do, however, want to blast this out. Probably move these out of the way. Blast a little bit more of this out, and this out, and this out. We'll come in here, we'll blast this out here too, just to have a nice clean piece of real estate to work with. And they should be able to reach all of that without any issue. Everything should have turned back on though. So all of these are still prioritized by haulers. Those turned back on without any issue as well. This is still nice and full because we've been dumping water into it this entire time. I need to watch our Badwater. It should not have changed flows, done anything ridiculous. You guys are bored, so you get to go do something else with your hands, which is a good thing. Now let's go ahead and get them up here to rip out some more of this. I do need to give them access to some more of this back here. I think we have a few days before this becomes an issue for us. And we'll steal that Badwater. Why not? They can come back up in here, clean the rest of that up, and then I also would like to come up here and climb up here and tear more of this out as well. So let's do that like such as. And then we can start clearing some of this out and putting in more levees for all of our stuff and things. We need you ripped out. I don't know if they can actually reach that. I don't think they can. It's not giving me a notification saying it's too far away. You have nothing to do with your hands. You also have nothing to do with your hands. So that's a few more beavers with nothing to do. Okay, they got this all planted, which is cool. I want to blast this out. I want to also blast that out. Grab this right here. I think that side and that side is how that's going to work right there. I want to blast that there. Blast this there. I don't think this is actually going to be the smartest way of tackling this, but it's fine. Everything is fine. Give me this so we can clear up this little path snafu there. You get blasted out. You get blasted out. You need to be demolished. You need to be a high priority. You get all demolished here as well. And we go ahead and hit that button there too. So we can get a little bit more water storage in here. And we also throw in this bad Johnny. Bada bing, bada boom. Now we can go ahead and rip this out, that out, and I think I need to put one explosive right there. Right here. No, that's a platform, and that's fine. Now we put in all of our deep water pumps. Right here, 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 and here. And we flip these guys around just like this. And now we've got a beautiful set of water pumpers to clean this area up. And now we have all this real estate reclaimed for other stuff and things. Now we could come in here and probably do that right here, honestly. Are you necessary? I don't think you're necessary anymore. We have a drought. This is a min tempered cycle. That's scary. Whatever will I do with my hands? I don't know if I can survive this. Will we be able to survive this? I don't know if we'll be able to survive this, guys. I do need to block this off because this is letting water through that I don't want through. Yeah, we need to block that off. I want to save water back there. This can then backfill into here and so on. Means that I've also got to clear up the rest of this area as well, which means gaining access to this side again. Oh my goodness. Everything's fine. We're still connected there. Okay, so you get Steve right there. That's cool. That's fine. How's this? Did I pause all these? Done. I don't believe I did. That might explain why power or water production has been a little slow down here. Now that all those are turned back on, that should be fine. That is awesome. I don't think I've ever seen this fill up. This has not filled up once. But I'll try and keep a better eye on it. Everything is moving, everything is grooving, everything is filling up, which is fantastic. We can probably blast that out there. We might even be able to sneak in another row of pumpers right here. But I think we're in a good spot. Maybe we'll actually... So what I think we'll do is we'll blast you out, we'll blast you out, and we'll put in a series of tanks right here. I didn't count that. Yeah, we should be able to put in a couple large storage tanks here without any consternation. That'll be a nice little chunk of water there to store up. We have a bunch of flooded buildings. Known building floods. Unstable core still is going to blow in 9 days. Still an understaffed building, which is a builder's hut, which is totally fine. We have a bunch of bots running around without any power, and we still have a bunch of injured beavers. What are they getting injured in? Is all of those positions... Well, no, this hasn't been changed over. Go and swap you over. Swap you over. You're already swapped over. Pull you over. You know, it's probably this is where the majority of the injuries are coming from. That means I need to save up the science to get those guys swapped over, which means probably turning on another number cruncher. Gonna hit that button right there so we get a little bit more water storage in there, and we can also throw this in here, here, and here. And now we can put in a bunch of large water tanks right there. And that is beautiful. And this will be just basic water tanks. And we'll copy these across the board. They'll be able to pump all of that out, and that'll be good. And we can do the same up here. I just want to do something like, I don't know, like this. And then something like this. And then like this. We'll swap those around like such as. And we put in 2 more large water tanks right here. Copy this over to those guys. I don't think we need to prioritize those by haulers for storage capacity or storage or anything. I do want to get these ripped out, so maybe we can think about where we want to put in some more water storage on the backside. It does appear, though, that we are not running into a poo water issue anymore, so that is fantastic to see. Did this fill up? No. You are open. Downstream depth is 1.9. Maybe we do that. 1.85. Then you close at 13.85. So you're going to stay open. We'll see if that actually fills up. This should stay closed for the most part. It's opening. I don't know where it's actually filling in even more than it already is. Did we get this in back here? No, I don't think we did. No, we didn't make it that far. Let's go ahead and grab this. They couldn't reach this far. Now they can. And then that'll provide a little bit more in the way of beautification. We'll have a lot more green stuff to play with. You could probably even tear... Oh, no, I just put those in. What am I talking about? I just put those in. Don't tear out the things that you just put in, me. So I want that there and that there. I think I don't need that there. Well, let's just put this in. How are we doing planks-wise? Not the greatest. But you should be able to cover down everything appropriately. We'll swap you over to that side. That'll be good. These guys are going to keep pumping to their heart's content. These are waiting on probably all planks because we're throwing planks around like there's they're going out of style. This is not flooding, so that's good to see. Not flooding yet though, so let's keep that in mind as we continue to solve this problem that we have up here. Get this out of the way, or we just work around it. I'm okay with that. Work around that. And we do the same back here. I think all of these were pretty low on the priority list because I gave them a bunch of stuff to build at the same time. So that can work its way out one way or another. I do want to move this stuff. I want to move all three of these things, honestly. Okay. I'm happy. I'm very happy with how things are turning out. This core blows in 7 days, which is no longer a problem for us, which is fantastic because we have this capped off now. Now, at some point, maybe in a millennia or two, we can come over here and build a huge power system, or we'll just build the huge power system over here and that'll be fine. This is fine. We weren't able to get over here and tear all that out, but that's okay. This isn't spilling out anywhere, so that is also okay. That is awesome. This is so awesome. I'm very happy with how things are turning out. Now we have copious amounts of water being pumped. We have copious amounts of storage going in. We have a 22.5 day drought remaining ahead of us, and I am happy to say that I don't think that we have anything else to worry about. I say that right now, knowing full well that our lovely map dev is gonna be like, yeah, but you one more thing, and then I'm gonna be sad. I'm gonna be very sad. But the beavers are happier than ever. Check that out. 15 was the max average, so that is cool. 15 is awesome. You gotta love to see that. I also love to see that there's a nice little pocket of green real estate in here that we could probably turn into a little bit of a planting area. Or maybe, you know what? I love the idea. I have a wonderful idea. I have a beautiful idea. So I heard that there's a wonderful and easy way to solve this problem. First, we need to find our way in here. That means going over like that. It gives us access to inside of here. Means we have access to this after I put this path on right here. Means you're connected, right? Yes. You're connected, so that means that we can come over here, grab this pathway, bridge this way with that. We can do something along these lines. Maybe we want to do that with just lumber. Or not just lumber, but with levees. We can't place anything in front of that. But we can do something like this. Something like this. Then can we put these right here? We can. And then we cap that off with something like this. And theoretically, that should no longer spew any nasty juices down here. And we could turn this into our what do we want to call it? Our place where we produce all of our mushrooms and such. It makes sense, you know, mushroom production in the hydroponic garden as well as our algae. Do that in a cave? That'd be so fun. You know what? We're gonna do that. We're gonna do that. So let's get them access to this. Let's go ahead and plus this up priority wise. Just because I like the idea of having that available to us. And I don't know why we aren't turning dirt over here. Probably need to prioritize that by hauler so that they can actually do that. We are pumping this out like no one's business. This is... yeah, that did not stay as nearly as full as I thought it would. Cool. Very, very cool. We have all of these going in now, so that is fantastic to see. This is now in need of a little bit of a cleanup. I would love to actually just run this right. Do that, like that, and then we could just because it's funny. Tiny little bridge there. Once they get that put in, then we can do some other fun stuff. Okay, we need much more lumber moving. And that is becoming readily apparent to me. And I would also like to clean up this pathway right here just a tad bit. That means that you get ripped out there. And now we can plant a little bit more in the way of soybean right here. I'll leave that empty right there, but we can put in some more cassava right there. And now we can plant... do I pull this over one? No. Now we can plant some more oak. Oak, please. I don't think it goes out that far, that irrigation. It'll be a little bit more lumber for us. This is all in, but I don't think I do have it marked for cutting. Can we reach all that? In theory, yes. All that marked for cutting, yes. We can pull that out, and then maybe we move this back one and have a nice line into there. Nope, not that. I want the path, please. Thank you. Yes. Okay, we have logs. We just need planks again. What is that? Why is there a random impermeable floor right there? I don't know why that's there. It's a random thing. I'm not complaining that it's there. That's empty now, so we can pull that out. I think we're good with you guys, so we don't need y'all anymore. Which is awesome. This is fantastic. This is looking really good. Maybe we give this guy a little bit of access to that over there. I do want to get into a little bit of an area where we can plant mangroves. Mangroves would be really nice. This is well irrigated now. And this won't stay irrigated for a prolonged period of time. 3 days until that pops. We'll keep an eye on that. Won't stay irrigated for a prolonged period of time. However, it does stay irrigated for... well, no, we flood this thing. That would just... yeah, that wouldn't be beneficial. We're going to have to find a nice, clean piece of real estate to plant mangroves. Now, finding that is going to be nigh impossible because look at all the thorns everywhere, you know. But it's fine. We'll figure it out. Now, did they get into here? No. No, they did not. Might have something to do with the severe lack of lumber. That might have something to do with it. And it might help if I gave these guys a little bit of storage space. Make their lives a little bit easier. We want you to be logs, prioritize, supply. We're going to copy that across those 4. And that will make their lives a little bit easier down here. And we might even throw in a little bit of a pathway, a little path action. There's a random set of thorns right there. Okay. And put in a couple more lumberjack flags to do lumberjack flag things. Cool. I love it. I love it a lot. I would do a mass teardown right now of all of this. But the moment I do that, I'm going to run into an issue because I don't have the lumber to rebuild everything in a timely fashion. I do love the fact that I've got 12,000 units of water, or 11,000 units of water, and another 14, or I've got a total storage capacity 1,400, which is fantastic. It's all waiting on planks. The metal blocks are in. That's cool. It's probably the same for all of those. Planks, 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 planks. Awesome. This is so awesome. We are definitely conquering this map. I'm happy to report. Very happy to report that. Throw that there. Do need... What are they doing up here? What are you guys doing up here? Stop supplying stuff to that. Stop it. Go ahead and delete that one. Delete, 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 delete. Empty that. Go ahead and delete this. Push comes to shove, we can rip into that. That'll be great. This is looking so beautiful. We're just pumping that out to our heart's content. This is just permanently closed. But I think what we can do is... What is the depth that we want this to stay at? 3? I don't think that's the answer. I don't know what the answer is, honestly. Really should focus and do one thing at a time, but you know, I have the attention span of a goldfish, so not really an option for us. All our builders are still doing building things. We have bots that are out of power. We have an unstable core that's going to be popping in 0.9 days, and we still need this to be ripped out. One of these days, the bots will actually get around to doing that. And now we're just waiting on all of the gears and all of the metal blocks and all of the things to throw into here to give us another 2,400 units of storage for water, which is amazing, which is fantastic. I think probably take our beaver population to a crazy, crazy high level right now, but I'm not ready for that. I feel like that would end poorly for everybody involved. All right. Going to clear some of this out. Just a little bit of lumber back and a little bit of... That's a fair bit of lumber. Let's go ahead and get this cleaned up. That's all irrigated now, so now we can pull this back here. Get that all marked for planting. Make sure that's all marked for cutting. It is. You can, of course, reach all that, which is amazing. That is a fantastic thing. 0.2 days. 0.2 days. That is not good. All right. See how big of a problem this would have been. Look at that tiny little hole. Yeah, it's not so tiny of a hole anymore. Wow. Wow. Woo, that took out a lot of our scrap too. That stinks. And it took out the water. Oh my goodness. All the water got exploded. Rude. Rude. That's fine. Badwater Discharge is doing Badwater Discharge things. Providing us with all the protection we need from all the pain and suffering that Mr. Mapmaker was trying to have us to do. You know? It was good. It was great. Clean up our mess while we're doing messy things. I don't know if I showed you guys this, but we came back here and actually cleaned up this mess too, so this is no longer a concern for us. This little cut to the right, 90-degree cut to the right, might be a problem for us in the future. I don't know. Hope not. I feel like we're fine. I feel like we're doing just fine. Lumber is still a hassle for us, but I think we are looking pretty good. So, once we have this reservoir nice and stocked, I believe we are at capacity, or at the height that we need to be in order to prevent flooding in the future. I hope, I think. Then we can start working on our aqueduct. Where we're going to send that water, I still don't know yet. It is on the list of things to solve. The other thing that I need to solve is what is happening to this? Why didn't this get built? I want that built. Please finish that. That'd be great. 16. All right. Look at it. It's so beautiful. So much water. So much potential storage for water. So much juice for days. It's beautiful. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. If you did, please hit that like button. It has been a lot of suffering to get to this point. But I'd like to believe that I think we've made it past the initial survival stages of TimberPunk 2. Now it's just a matter of thriving. And it's been an absolute blast to get to this point. And I hope you guys have enjoyed every bit of this adventure as I have. And I am very much excited about creating 5 bajillion bots to clear out every thorn on the map and create a very beautiful place for our beavers to enjoy their lives. But we're going to call this episode there. If you like this video, please hit that like button. If you have not already, hit that subscribe button. I would appreciate that as well. We'll catch you on the next episode of TimberPunk 2. Stay safe out there. Don't do anything dumb, dangerous, or different. We'll catch you all on the flip side. I'm out. See ya.